11 Asia-Pacific governments are testing whether cleaner air policies can deliver measurable health gains through shared data and regional technical cooperation. To tell us more about this, Steve Yim of NTU joins us. So Steve, 11 governments have signed on. What will actually change on the ground versus staying on paper?
So we will see the transition from the policy commitments to the measurable on ground like impacts, because we will see usually in the very traditional way that we look at to the like emission control policies. We will look at to the pollutant concentration level changes. But now with this kind of agreement, we can link the outcome to the health such that in the future, when we look at to any emission control policy, we would not only look at to the pollutant concentration level, but also we can understand the health benefits from the policies, which is a very important improvement of in the environmental management perspective. Second one is we could have more targeted interventions for the high vulnerability areas, especially for some of the area, they may have the more vulnerable population, like stating there. So if we can link to the health, and then we can identify the vulnerable populations and then have a more specific intervention to support the population health over there. The last one is we can provide also the cross-sectoral like support for the governments in different agencies that they can formulate their corresponding policies corresponding to the health benefits. That would be also very useful for countries to protect their population health.
But the real test is turning cleaner air measures into measurable health results. How do you prove that link?
So usually when we look at to the health outcomes or the effectiveness of any emission control policy on the health outcomes, we always do the health impact assessment, which is a commonly used method in some of the countries already, for example, like the United States. So the method is that we can like look at to the emission changes in our like country, and then we can perform model simulations that will give us the possible or the likely the changes of the pollution concentration level. And then we can use the concentration response function that link and estimate the health outcomes. So this kind of like method is well proved by the academic research already. And then my research also improved this kind of methodologies like time to time. So this kind of method can be used based on this kind of agreement to link emission control policies to the health benefits.
And though we have borders, how well would you say can these countries share data and coordinate?
So one of the very important like the problems of the air pollution in Southeast Asia is the transboundary nature of the air pollutants, because the pollutants would not just affect the local air quality, but also the downstream countries. So if we just rely on the local air quality data, we may not be better understand the situation, especially during the transboundary haze events. So that is what we need the data to support our model simulations to assess the transboundary characteristics and also the how long and how much of the pollutants will be interact within different countries. So this kind of measurement network data and also the model simulations results should be shared among the countries such that each country to understand more about the problems of the transboundary air pollution, at the same time also the local air pollution issues. And they can coordinate their local effort and also coordinate the collaboration with other countries to solve the air quality problems in their countries.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, Steve.
Thank you.
Once again, that was Steve Yim, founding director for the Center for Climate Change and Environmental Health at Nanyang Technological University. For more news, visit govmedia.com.